Ladies and gentlemen, there are some new leaks for the Trilogy Remasters. The achievements or trophies have been leaked, and there's actually a couple of new ones, and without trying to waste your time too much, we'll be focusing on some of the more interesting ones that have been added to the game. Starting off with GTA 3's most notable new additions and or trophies, which is going to be without a scratch. Deliver Mike Lips's car without a scratch on first attempt. I would assume that doesn't mean that if you don't do this within your very first mission attempt ever, you have to start an entirely new game. I think that just means that you just have to do it without going to the pay and spray, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Mob Boss, keep the two Mafia members alive during triads and tribulations. Planned ahead, take out Chunky Lee Chung with a car rigged with a bomb, which is gonna be an interesting one. Got this figured out, use a coach to pick up all 8 prostitutes in the mission, the Fuzzball, which is a very interesting trophy considering that normally you don't actually have to pick up all the 8 prostitutes, but this is a fun little trophy that they've added. Come out to play, which is actually a reference to the Warriors. Liberty City Minute, which is a reference to a New York Minute, which of course Liberty City is based on New York. Surviving for a minute with less than 10 HP. Not going to be too hard to do. The way to really go about that, I would assume, is just falling enough until you're below 10 HP and just stand still for a minute. Cheaters do prosper, blowing up 2,000 cars. This one is probably going to be a bit of a grind. Throughout the game, you'll probably blow plenty of cars, but I think that this is going to be the point where maybe some cheat codes are going to be needing to be used to speed up this process a little. And finally, fair game, pick up Curly Bob in a taxi during cutting the grass. Ironically enough, I do believe this is also a speedrun tactic, so I'm not entirely sure if this is a nod to speedrunners of GTA 3. Moving on to Vice City, born in the 80s, listening to all radio stations at least once. While the trophy itself won't be too difficult to get, it's a nice nod to the fact that Vice City is many people's favorite radio stations within the entire franchise. Irony, which is a little pun that they're using for killing the property developer with a golf club during 4 Iron. Not my first time, complete the mission G-Spotlight without falling from the rooftops. Arguably one of the most difficult trophies within the entire trilogy, and also of course not my first time referring to the G-Spot, because you know, they're still Rockstar after all. Having said this, obviously for the harder trophies and some of the more newer trophies, I'm definitely going to be making guides. So if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel and look out for those guides coming to you whenever the trilogy has been released. Salutations, my little friend. Use the M4 to take out Diaz during the mission Rub Out, which is of course a reference to Say Hello to My Little Friend from the movie Scarface. Bull Nachana Shop, of course a reference to the GTA 4 mission with the same name, costs $1 million in property damage. In the mission in GTA 4, you extort someone by damaging their property. Now, unfortunately, for those that have played the previous 4 versions before, they are very familiar with the following trophy. Take the Cannoli. Unfortunately, it is back, getting the Godfather criminal rating. Hopefully, the strategies and or glitches that you can use to make this trophy a breeze will hopefully be in the game, and it won't actually suddenly decide to start patching everything, because having to do this legit will be an absolute nightmare. I'll let you know whenever I find out. Chop It Up, which requires you to kill all hostile NPCs during the mission Demolition Man using the RC Chopper's blades. Everyone likes to complain about this mission over and over and over again because it's the hardest thing in the franchise apparently, which I don't really agree with, but it's a nice little nod to, once again, some GTA lore. Baked distractions. Hijack the tank without alerting the army first during Sir Yes Sir. Not as difficult as it might sound, there's a cool little trick that you can use in order to get this done fairly quickly. Then moving on to San Andreas, arguably the one with the most references and memes and everything, where Rockstar is really playing into this with some very cool little hints here and there. With extra dip, buy 8 meals from Clucking Bell throughout the game. Obviously a reference to the now infamous cutscene within the game. I'll have 2 number 9s, which is another reference to that same cutscene which requires you to reach maximum weight. Who needs distractions? Finding Mike Torino without any of the referred locations during the mission, Mike Torino. Not as difficult as it is, all you have to do is just directly drive towards the airport, and that really is it. They can't stop all of us, which requires you to sneak into the underground base without setting off the alarm above ground during the Black Project. This one's probably going to be one of the more harder trophies within the game, if I'm being honest, because whoever has done this without alerting the alarms, it's not as easy as it sounds. Smooth moves, performing the perfect dance routine. I would assume this is during the first OG Loc mission and will probably require you to get a perfect score of, I believe, at least 2500, but correct me if I'm wrong. Not a player requires you to go on at least one date with every potential girlfriend. This might be a bit of a grind, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Assassin, stealth kill all enemies in a mission, Mad Dog Rhymes. This one probably will just require you a little bit of figuring out, but shouldn't be too difficult. Today was a good day. Go on 24 hours in-game without breaking the law, being wanted, killing or harming anyone. Which is of course a reference to the exact same song featured in the game and also the context of the song itself by Ice Cube, essentially describing the perfect day of 24 hours without anything happening whatsoever. In case you didn't know what the song was about. Remastered, requiring you to get 100% completion within GTA San Andreas. Is gonna be a bit of a grind if I'm gonna be honest. San Andreas previously in the PS4 version did not require to get 100% completion, unlike in GTA Vice City and in GTA 3. So this is probably gonna be one of those longer trophies. Speaking of getting 100%, here we go again. Again, another reference to one of the more important memes within the game. Requires you to start a new game after getting 100% on a save file. And then arguably one of the coolest little Easter eggs within this list is 81 years too late. Spend 24 hours on foot in the countryside, in quotation marks, looking for Bigfoot. This is a reference to a previous Easter egg that Rockstar has done within their achievements in Red Dead Redemption called 6 Years in the Making. This trophy referred to the Bigfoot mystery within GTA San Andreas during the Undead Nightmare DLC released in 2010, which was 6 years after GTA San Andreas came out, and thus this whole Bigfoot mystery. Now Rockstar is referring back to this achievement again by saying 81 years too late. GTA San Andreas is set in 1992, Red Dead Redemption 1 is set in 1911. 81 years too late. Very cool Easter egg. And those are the most notable trophies and or achievements within this list. I'll leave a link in the description down below as well as in the pinned comment so you can read the list for yourself if you wish to do so, as well as the images of the achievements themselves if you want to see what the artworks are going to look like. Personally, I like the fact that they've added a few more new achievements and trophies in order to give some new spices, and there are some challenges in there which will definitely make it interesting. Some of them seem to be a little bit on the grindy side, which is kind of fine to me. I mean, obviously you want to get as much time out of these games as possible and get your money's worth. I'm very much looking forward to making these trophies my final last 3 platinum trophies before I hit the big 200, which I'm planning to make GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced. Unfortunately, this will only come out in March, so I'm gonna have to hold off on trophy hunting for a little while longer. Regardless, bragging aside about how great I am in trophy hunting, thank you also very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and if you really like what's seen on the channel, consider becoming a member, like Chloe, Robert, Alus Fire, Captain Price, Shukulu, Madman Dakota, and Dr. Strange Love. Join them and the other fellow members by clicking the join button down below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all later.